This is also going to be our last YouTube video. Maybe not forever, but for sure for a while. Morning everybody, welcome back. Saturday in the shop, and we're going to jump back on the Shovelhead Bobber project today. Kind of lost interest in this build, so I took a break from it for, I don't know, maybe it's been a month or so, 3 weeks, but we have almost no fabrication left and we'll be ready to get it torn down. So we got to weld up our exhaust mounts we made in the last video and tack our little frame filler panel on, and that's really the end of the fabrication on the bike. We'll be ready to pull it all apart, so I'm gonna get that knocked out today. And then the big project for today is we bought a used Invader wheel, which is what I wanted to run on this bike. I got it for a good deal, but it was a wide glide wheel with a single rotor, and we need a narrow glide spool wheel. So we are going to modify this wheel, make it into a narrow glide spool wheel. So we'll see how that goes. I have a pretty set plan how I'm going to do it. Should be relatively straightforward, but it's not something I've ever done before, so should be a little bit of a interesting challenge. So we'll see how that goes, but that's the plan for today. We'll get the wheel done and get these last bits of stuff welded on the frame, and then possibly start getting the bike torn down, just depending on how time goes. So anyway, we're going to get to work and see what we can get done today. Alright, we got our rear exhaust all tacked up. That'll obviously get finished welded when we break this bike down. And we got our front pipe in, which we need to take our mount. I believe it's over here on the other side. I'm going to jump over there and grab it. We'll clean the rest of the frame off, tack that up, and the actual frame fab on this thing will be finished. Alright, so we got our front pipe mount all mocked up. We got to measure, make a couple spacers. We'll tack those on, and we'll be ready. Alright, so we got all the fab done. We'll get this lift cleaned off and start tearing this bike down. And we're going to jump over to the mill and see about getting this wheel modified. Alright, so we got our wheel in the mill table here. First things first, we're going to get it aligned. So I got a piece of 3/4 inch bar here, which is going to work to fit inside the bearing while it's still in there. Alright, so we got that aligned now. We could have used a coaxial indicator or something else, but this just worked very easy. So we got that aligned. We zero out our DRO. Now we're going to change out our tool. So first thing we need to do is get this brake flange cut off of here. And the way we're going to do that. Alright, so I don't have enough stack height here without making a whole bunch of changes to the mill setup, which I really don't feel like doing. So we're going to change moves here a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and get our end milk set in here. Alright, we got our height cut. So now we're going to switch over to our boring bar. This is how we're going to reopen the hole in the hub to press the bearing in. So first things first, we're going to go back to our 0. So that we know we're in the center of our hub. Touch off here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look these boxes, just set everything to one thing. I'll set it right there. I'll set it right here on the front of this.
Set our 0 there on our Z so that we know how deep we're boring, which will set once we knock our bearing out of the piece we cut off. And then we'll raise our table up that height. Alright, that's this side done. We just got to deburr. So now we just have to do the exact same thing with the other side. So I'll take this out, I'll deburr this, we'll flip it over, and we'll go back through the same process. We'll put our centering pin, we'll slice off the big chunk of the material, mill it to our dimension, and bore it for the bearing. Alright guys, that's it. We got our wheel modified into our spool hub. Just got to knock the bearings in here and cut the center spacer down. Alright guys, that's a wrap for today. Got this wheel done and the fab done on this Shovelhead Bobber, but I don't know, I'm really not feeling this build too much. I think I'm just going to put it up for sale as is, let somebody else take over who's more interested in it, feeling better about it, and let them do their thing with it. So we'll see how this goes. This is also going to be our last YouTube video. Maybe not forever, but for sure for a while. It's a lot of work to make these videos, and honestly, just not that many people watch them. So it's kind of a waste of my time, unfortunately. The guys who do watch them and enjoy them, I really appreciate you guys, and appreciate you guys always commenting and giving me some positive feedback. But you know, the goal of these things is to get people to watch them and make a few bucks to make it worthwhile to spend all the time and money that I do making the videos. So I have a real problem quitting doing things once I get started on them. I tend to continue on no matter what, because I don't know, just not a quitter. But I'm working on that personally, because sometimes stopping doing something isn't necessarily quitting, and you got to be smarter sometimes than to just continue on something aimlessly forever with no return on your investment. So anyway, that's where we're at. Thank you guys that have taken this ride with us, and like I said, you know, possibly come back to it one day, but for the immediate future, this is going to be it. So I appreciate you guys, and that's it.